What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Games Talk Live. I've got a great show lined up for you guys today. However, before I get started, I just want to give a special shout out to somebody that has helped me create this new layout I've got going on today. Well, not really create it, but help me pick it out anyway. That's my daughter. Shout out to my daughter, Bella. I really appreciate everything you've done for me, and she's always supported my channel so much, and she loves to tell me how many subs I've got and all that stuff, and it's been really cool. And she just graduated middle school, going into high school soon, and very proud of you. Very proud of you. Also, I want to give a shout out to all of my channel members, of course, that being Tony Disney, Wise Old Gamer, Mass Erect, Hustle and Motivate, Tony Bryant, Immortal Jedi X, Dead Time, and Delilah HD. Thank you very much. I appreciate everything you guys do for the show. Now, this week's guest is someone I not only consider one of the funniest people I've seen on YouTube, heard on YouTube, but I also consider him a good friend. Ladies and gentlemen, hide your TCL TVs and your PS5s because I got King David in the house. What's up, King?
Oh, man, Jay. I've been anticipating this day. You know, me and you talk in the background. We was going to do some other stuff as far as, combat talk and stuff like that. But I am so happy and so proud of what you're building, what you've accomplished. I love the feel of it. I saw Rygar in the beginning. I was like, oh, my God. The controllers, the feel is our era. You know, what we came from. And you keep that aesthetic, you keep that feel, and you stay true to yourself. The iconic voice now goes with this beautiful face, so the people can feel this engagement and know the Fonzarelli I know, get to know the Fonzarelli I know and get this whole engagement. I love everything that's going on here, so I'm so happy to be here.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. You're the one who started the whole camera movement within ILP, and then, of course, that crossed over to myself as well, Colt Eastwood. Yes. It's creeping up through the community, and it's a fantastic thing. The engagement, I have to say, has been a lot better since I've been doing it. People love the new format, and I appreciate everybody so much out there who's given me positive feedback. All the negative haters, just go jump in a lake. I don't want to hear it. I know what I'm doing here is the right thing. I'm having a blast with it, man. And but let me get into you a little bit here, King. You've been on ILP now for Iron Lords podcast, for those of you that don't know, in case you've been living under a rock. I represent Iron Lords all the time. You see the shirt, the hat. It's all Iron Lords, baby.
Thank you,
brother. It's honestly the only swag I've ever bought from any podcast out there.
Thank you so much.
That's because I really believe in what you guys do, what you bring to the community. You guys are amazing at what you do. Cog is one of the best hosts, hands down, in the game. There's honestly very few people out there. Dealer Gaming comes to mind, another great host.
Yes.
Of course, RDX Bias here, but Dealer's awesome, amazing. But anyway, about yourself, though. Now, you and the guys over there, when Cognito was on, I talked about how you guys used to go over Cog's house on Saturdays, play video games, stay out of trouble. Tell me a little bit about your perspective about that.
Okay, well, I come from the rougher side of the neighborhood, and when me and Cog got together, video games has always been my underlining safe haven. From Vectrex to you could say Atari 2600. I came up in the Intellivision, ColecoVision fights. I come up from that aspect of it all the way up for Atari 2600 and 7800, and then going on to the Nintendo, Super Famicom, and stuff like that, Neo Geos, and I've grown through that. I've had every console that ever came out, probably every handheld from the Wonder Swan to the Neo Geo Pocket that ever came out. When we used to hang out, it was always karate movies, video games, and a Chinese restaurant or whatever, and guys just hanging out and playing games and trying to just bond, because and guys, some guys don't understand this. If you never had buddies that you hang out with, or you didn't have something that you're linked to, having that link and that bond with people, that means a hell of a lot, right? So some of you get it in a college experience. Some of you get it, from hanging out in the neighborhood. Some of you get it from your brothers and sisters. A lot of us didn't have brothers and sisters. Cog, is the only boy or whatever. And I had a sister that was 7 years younger than me. So that bond between somebody of your age and your demographic and in your age group, that means a lot. Yep. So we all hang out and we all, just kept an eye on each other. So video games was all of our outlets. And at that time, one person to buy a game, bring it over, show it to everybody. And that, I was our Game Pass. We were seeing games from that perspective. And what should we buy? We were reading the EGMs, the Game Pros. Yes, Game Fan magazines. And
Nintendo Power as well.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
everybody had that with the Power Glove. I brought
That's
that
right.
glove.
Robbie the Robot, shout out to you.
Yeah, right. Used them once and put them back in the box.
It was gone, right?
Right, because he's
mine broke.
Needed. Yours broke a while. And it's these things that help us go, like the E3 tapes. We will all chip in and buy the $20 E3 tape and watch the E3. So that formed our life. We were all Sega kids, and then we migrated to PlayStation because PlayStation came out and it was transformative. The Nintendo was always in their position.
Yep.
And as things go, Sega died. Microsoft stepped up. We all supported Microsoft going forward, and we still support a multi-console ecosystem.
Of course,
all of us. And because it's about the games at the end of the day, but also it's about the camaraderie. So. When Iron Lords was founded and brought together, I came on afterwards. It was a different podcast type of thing. And, we changed it to fit more of our identity.
Yeah.
And once it fit our identity, who we were, then everything else start falling into place. Then you start seeing the logos, the branding and stuff, and us going to shows and reaching out to the community. What we wanted to extend was our brotherhood to others.
Yeah.
So when I met you, I embraced you as a brother. And, we talk in the background. I remember one time you had hit me up. You was like, "You okay?"
Yeah,
yeah. I'm like, definitely. Then we're talking in
that's
in
how
the
it
background.
Is, man.
And it's yeah.
You know what? I find that as you get older in life, it's harder and harder to find friends.
Yes.
Okay. This medium is fantastic to reach out to people that are like-minded, like yourself, and the rest of the panel there at ILP. Seriously, like when I saw you guys first, I immediately took to you guys because you're from my era. You guys understand like where I'm coming from within the gaming industry. It's not all about achievements and trophies. It's about camaraderie. It's about playing couch co-op. It's about being there with your buddies, your friends, your family, whoever it is, playing those games that we all love. That's it. That's
Raymond,
it.
You got a super chat from Raymond Terrell.
Yes, Ramon. That's Ramon Terrell.
Ramon Terrell.
He says, "Yo, King, console trivia. You ever heard of the NEC Super Graphics from back then? Much love to you both."
I give you one better. I had it with the 5 games that it did launch. I was a huge TurboGrafx fan. I am a huge TurboGrafx fan. I had the TurboGrafx when it came out. I had the PC Engine. I had the Super Graphics. I had the Turbo Duo. I had the Turbo Duo Lite when they switched it over. I've had every console imaginable, and that TurboGrafx line, that PC Engine line, those were my favorite consoles to this day. And at Super Graphics, I spent at the time $500-600 for it. I got it here. I got Super Ghouls and Ghosts, which was not Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghouls and Ghosts.
Ghouls and Ghosts. Tough game, by the way.
Tough. And I can beat that on 1 quarter. Back in the days. But it was arcade perfect, and I just needed to have it. It's that console. If you're one of those obscure niche guys, you had it.
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to Stormwalker4, who became a new channel member. Appreciate you so much, and also Junas Pacey. I'm not sure how to say that name. I apologize if I wrecked that name, but thank you very much for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it so much. The support is awesome. Well, as you know, King, on this little show here on Games Talk Live, I like to do something a little bit different. I like to do, when I start off the show with somebody, I like to get to know them a little bit, but we already know each other here, and we don't really need breaking the ice here, but I want to play a little game that I like to call 5 questions.
Right.
5 questions. All right, enough of that. So, as you know, this is a game where I ask 5 trivia questions. Some of these can be subjective, but however, as host of the show, I have the power to say whether you are wrong or right. Okay? So, I'm going to ask you these 5 questions, and of course, I'm old school, so I go index cards here. Okay. And these questions I picked out specifically for you because, well, you're a big Xbox fan. So, Xbox trivia for you, brother.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, better be on your game. The Xbox 360 was known for having a high failure rate with this occurrence. What is it?
Red Ring of Death.
You got it. Red Ring of Death. All right, that was an easy one. They get a bit harder. All right. Which one of these games launched with the OG Xbox? Gears of War, Call of Duty, or SSX Tricky, or D, actually, Oddworld Munch's Odyssey is the last one. So
OG Xbox.
OG Xbox. A, Gears of War, B, Call of Duty, C, SSX Tricky, or D, Oddworld Munch's Odyssey.
Well, it wasn't Gears of War. The OG Xbox didn't launch with Call of Duty. That was the 360. SSX Tricky, I think it came out 6 months after. It has to be A's Oddworld.
Correct. It's Odyssey. So that's Munch's Odyssey, Oddworld.
Oddworld, yeah.
Correct. All right. Where and when was the OG Xbox announced? Was it E3 2001 or GDC 2000?
Okay. All right. So they had a party in New York City, but with the actual announcement, it wasn't at E3. It had to be at GDC.
You're good. Got it. GDC. All right. So here's the next question. Who released the first flight simulator game?
The first flight simulator
game? First flight simulator game. Who released
Microsoft.
it? Got you.
Well, the developer, because I know it wasn't a Sobo. Sobo did this one, but the
Microsoft.
Actual developer was Microsoft. Yeah.
Now, for a bonus point, do you remember the year?
No.
All right. That would be 1982.
Yeah.
No. All right, so I asked this of every guest on the show. If you could only have one gaming experience throughout your entire lifetime, what game would that be?
Wait, to continuously play?
If you could only have one experience in your entire lifetime, any gaming experience. In other words, what is your favorite game of all time? Favorite experience.
Okay, well, I'll have to go with my favorite experience. The most mind-numbing experience that I had was Halo, when you walk into the shadow and you turn your light on your gun.
So you're talking Combat Evolved.
Yeah, I'm talking Combat Evolved. Like, we went to EB stores, right? EB Games, and we are going to pre-order it, and then they had the kiosk there that we were able to touch the game. Now, everything that we saw of the game, we saw of the game of the outside world. We never saw of the game inside the shadows. So it was a time that you went inside the corridor in the beginning level. You kill all the little grunts outside, and you go inside the first level.
I remember
the white button, when you went inside, you pressed it, and the light came on your gun. I was a PC dude. I've seen that stuff. I didn't see that stuff done on console to the degree that it just, I don't know, it took me aback because I didn't see this mentioned before. I didn't see pictures of this. No one talked about this. And when it happened, I was like, oh my God, we're on the next level. This is next level right here. So yeah.
Combat Evolved did a lot for us. So yeah, I accept that answer, sir. Because Halo Combat Evolved is honestly one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. So I'm with you on that. So king, you win. You win, brother. You win. Congrats.
Oh, God,
you won the game.
if I would have lost.
Yeah. How much mess would you have gotten on Twitter if you lost at Xbox Trivia, brother?
Oh, you scared the hell out of me. I was sitting there. I was kind of nervous too.
You were nervous?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to make it too hard, but I'm glad you got it all right.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Anyways, so going on to today's show, I want to talk about, I know you just talked about it on ILP, but we just had a showing of Horizon Forbidden West.
Right.
What's your thoughts on how that game looks, how it appears so far? What's your thoughts?
Well, I think it looks incredible. I think it took the first game and probably went up at least three scales higher. Once you add the element of the water element and the things that you can do inside the water, opposed to just going vertical, it's a different type of game because now you add another element of hiding, because when the raptors was chasing her, she jumped in the water to hide. So, and then you have exploration, that's underwater exploration. I think in the beginning, they didn't know exactly what they had with this IP, and they tried their best with it. And some parts failed, some parts succeeded, but for the most part, they did succeed. And they took all the criticism from the first game, and I can see from the beginning, from the interaction with her reaching the guy who was injured and she's giving him the water, that small interaction in the beginning set the tone for me, because I thought the humanity of the emotion was lacking in the first one. Whereas that scene alone, like, quelled those fears for me.
Yeah, you're right. Because in the first one, we had instances where you would meet another person and they'd give you a side quest or something, but it was done in a way where it wasn't really personal. It just felt disjointed a bit. Didn't feel like you were getting that human to human interaction as you do in so many other games. I agree with that. It did feel kind of disjointed. So you're right about that specific part. And even the part where she does save forget his name.
That was a huge part too.
Yeah.
So when she's going to save the guy, what I've noticed up into that part, the interactions that the humans had with each other seemed more organic.
Yes.
Like when they captured him, when the bandits captured him, and how they were taunting him throughout the whole thing, even with the giant tusk raider slammed down on the floor, they were still taunting him.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he told them, if I had my hammer, you wouldn't be laughing. The whole interaction, the human element of it actually came across a whole lot better. So from the beginning, I've noticed, like, through that whole scene, and I'm glad they used this scene to set up what we were going to get, because I think that bothered them before, that the human interaction of it, and they wanted to have that more element there in the next game.
Yeah, we've seen that from Guerrilla Games. Well, we're seeing that now with Guerrilla Games, but we've heard them talk on the first game as well, and they were talking about how stuff on. What's funny to me, and I always go back to this because it's a little bit jarring to know that this game is going to be on the PlayStation 4 as well. I mean, especially when you look at what it looks like on the PlayStation 5, it looks incredible. And I can't imagine it looking that good on the PlayStation 4. However, we heard Guerrilla Games talk about how the PlayStation 4 kind of held them back with certain mechanics. And they even mentioned like flying. And I'm thinking to myself, well, why then did they decide to go ahead again with the PS4 version? I understand money, all that, but it's like, if you really thought that held your game back in any way, why would they do such a thing? And I want to ask you that. Like,
I think that's just PR talk.
You think so?
To be honest with you, okay. Our last gen consoles were not maxed out. We saw the PlayStation 3 get maxed out. We saw the Xbox 360 get maxed out. That's why a lot of those back-to-back games still hold up to this day. All we needed to do was refresh the frame rate and give it a shinier coat of paint as far as 1080p, 1440p. I don't believe that held them back. I do believe that financially they weren't given the exact leadway that they were with this title, because it's a new IP and they had to prove themselves. Guerrilla Games had the cachet as far as the Killzone games, but do you have the cachet with this third person, PlayStation formula over the story, over the shoulder, story driven narrative type of game? And it showed that they're able to pull this off. So I do believe, and it will be released on the PlayStation 4. The fidelity will go down. It'll probably be at 900p. It'll be at 30 frames per second, and the game will come out.
Yeah.
So you won't be missing water sections. You won't be missing the glider. You won't be missing. These games are scalable. Right now, to get the better experience, you will have to have a PlayStation 5.
What did you say? These games are what?
Scalable. We know they're scalable.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because that's something that the PlayStation dudes were saying that wasn't, it wasn't really a thing with the Xbox. You know how the Xbox One S was going to hold back, or the Xbox One X was going to hold games back. Now they're changing that narrative to, hey, look at what Horizon can do. The PS4 is not holding them back. And that's just what we were saying all along, that these games are scalable. There's no reason to panic. And so it's good that they're finally seeing this over on their console. You know what I'm saying?
This is just marketing speech. We knew that, going through. We knew how powerful the PlayStation 4 is to the PlayStation 4 Pro to the PlayStation 5. Now, there's no reason why you can't release a game on the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4 Pro. What you do is just you scale it. It's like we've been doing this on PC for a long time. You dial back the level of detail. You dial back the resolution to keep the frame rate at the 30 frames per second. Frame that you want to reach and achieve. The PlayStation 5 will be at 60 frames. What up, dealer?
Dealer says the tools. They're using the tools.
This is true. The PlayStation 5 would be at 60 frames per second for 1440p, or dynamic 4K where they can reconstruct the image up to a 2K image to get to a 4K image. So regardless to what, they're able to switch and move stuff around and make it the best experience on their premier console. But at no point in time can that game not be done on a PlayStation 4 based console.
Yeah. And I'm sure, there are certain things that maybe mechanically some games can't do on last gen hardware that we may see in future games. Hell, even Ratchet and Clank, some of the stuff they're claiming that they can't do on last gen hardware, that could be true. I haven't played the game yet, so I don't know, but it looks incredible as well. But in my opinion, Horizon Forbidden West looks amazing. Just everything. The environment to me is what really looks incredible, to the point where I question, is this really open world? Because it looks that good.
I don't think it's open world.
You don't think so?
Okay, well, my definition of open world is Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, so Horizon Zero Dawn, the first game, that was open world. That was truly open world. You don't think it's going to be like that?
No, it's going to be just like the first game. I don't.
The first game was an open world game.
Okay, it's when we say open world, right? I'm thinking of Midnight Club. I'm thinking of huge large maps that you can traverse. It's still how it's set up is pocket engagement, right?
Because there's different things. There's open world, in my opinion, Horizon Zero Dawn is, and then there's hub worlds, kind of like how Destiny does, or even the game we just played on Game Pass, Outriders.
Right. Okay. No. Those are not open worlds. Yeah. All right. So I'm thinking of Odyssey. That's how Odyssey, they give you the whole map, period, regardless to what a level you are. Take a boat, you go hundreds of miles away. It's open world, but it's a smaller world that you get a chance to play, but you can go anywhere, anytime. So it is a true open world game, but I'm talking about as far as map size. Hopefully this map size is 3 to 4 times bigger than the first game. That's what I want. I'm just
hoping they didn't change it to a hub world thing.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Certain sections that look, you can run around in them, but they're more linear than, say, a big, massive open world.
Right.
Red Dead Redemption 2 or something. But in any case, I think it looks incredible. I can't wait to play it. The only caveat I have there is I think that they changed her face a bit from the first one. It looks a bit different to me, and a lot of PlayStation guys get upset with me to say that, but it does look different, and I don't know what they did.
She's older.
Well, I don't think the game is that far off from the first game in terms of, time.
I say this, right, because people used to complain with Ellie, her facial change.
She got older, though.
She got older.
I don't think this was years.
Well, I don't think... I think experiences. I think the character face is more of the face that they wanted to achieve, higher polygon rate, or the way that they form the textures. I think this is exactly how they wanted her to look.
Yeah. I would say, the best definition I saw out there was lockdown face. The pandy got to her a bit. Maybe she ate a little more. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So
a little bit of chubby cheeks going on there, but in any case, I don't care. The facial animations look great. The game looks fantastic. I can't wait to play it. It doesn't matter to me at the end of the day. I'm not one of these guys out there pushing. They need to doll her up or put makeup on her. That kind of stuff is weird.
She's in a war.
But this game looks incredible. Nobody can say it doesn't. And I
love the look.
I want to give a shout out to KTX Games with a $5 super chat saying, "Happy Sunday, gentlemen. I just wanted to give a huge shout out and congrats to Fonzie for 5K. Thank you very much. Keep it up, brother. Sure. And of course, much love to King."
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate that. Yeah, it's it's an incredible looking game. I feel like, people that are downplaying it are really just doing themselves an injustice and not really being a gamer, honestly. You can't say this game doesn't look good. Of course, the stories and everything like that within games, you don't know what it's going to be like until you play it. But you're right. It does seem more like it has more of a human to human aspect. It seems more just flushed out than the first one did. And I can't wait to play it, man. Not at $70 though. I'm not paying $70 for any game. I don't care what it is. It could be Red Dead Redemption 3. I'm not buying it for $70. That is just my principle I'm sticking with. $60.
I don't know when it's going to be released.
When do you think it's going to be released?
Next year.
Next year?
Yeah. I believe that everything that's been pushed back will interfere with dates. Sony has a lot of commitments on titles they did purchase for exclusive period of time in Windows. I don't know when those dates kick in. I don't know if those dates are contingent on the actual release date of said game, but those companies that they did purchase those timed exclusives from, they have boards and they have time frames and they have marketing demands as well. So when those games do come out, they're looking for a return on investment and they have in a window that they have to come out in. So if you own an IP opposed to you renting an IP, that rental IP and return on investments and those stockholders in that company need that game to come out first. You will always make money on your title when it does come out, and maybe you can give it some polish, but you also have to look at what the competition is doing at that time. You have a time exclusive with Call of Duty coming out around that time. So you have to see how it forms your year. So do I think it might fall to the end of the fiscal period in the fourth quarter, which might be March 2022, or it could come out anywhere between January and February? Yeah, I believe so. But I do think it misses this year due to all those promised time exclusives and deals that was ahead of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of with you, but I'm also on the other side saying I think that it could see holiday 2021. Mm-hmm. The only reason why I'm kind of with you, though, is because I feel that they would have announced a date they showed this trailer.
We have your attention. Why do we need to tell you we'll give you an announcement later on? Nothing's going to change from here to 2 weeks. Somebody was talking about the Summer Games Fest. They're going to tell you then. I don't think so.
Unless, of course, they could be waiting on knowing when other games are releasing, because we do have Breath of the Wild 2 rumored to release this year, Halo Infinite, several games. And I'm not saying Halo Infinite would stop people from buying Horizon Forbidden West. However, I just feel like maybe they're looking at competition.
I'm going to tell you this. And Sovereign brought up a great point. The last time that the first one was released, a week later, Breath of the Wild came out, and I think that kind of stifled their sales and stifled their engagement. And I don't think they ever want to have that actually happen to them again.
Yeah.
And this is Sovereign's point. We just talked about it. I honestly believe that to be true, because if Breath of the Wild is coming out this year and that game will hit this year and you will get a definitive release date, because the new Switch is coming out now. If it does release this year, like they're saying, I don't know. I think they have a sweet spot in that March, income tax time. I think they hit a good number there. So you have disposable income. Some people have. I think they will release then. But if they do release that Switch early, that Switch Pro, like somebody's been saying on Bluebird, and that game does come out, it will release with that game. I think you definitely push back the Horizon 2, because that game is the only game.
I could see that. Safo in the chat says could be waiting on more consoles to be available. I don't agree with that, only because it's also coming to the PlayStation 4, and there's 140 plus million consoles there. I don't think Sony is waiting for that with Horizon Zero Dawn. They could be doing that, however, for God of War Ragnarok. They could be waiting for more consoles for the PS5, because I believe God of War, my prediction is that it'll be PS5 exclusive.
I don't think so. The only game that I know that they were waiting for more consoles to be sold was Ratchet and Clank. Now, the God of War, I believe the market is too large for Jim Dance Moves Ryan to walk away from on that PlayStation 4. I believe that market and that story is too huge not to get $70 from these dudes.
I know, but I look at it like the PS5, if they just concentrate with the PS5, they could do so much more with God of War, especially with this new God of War. Graphically, mechanically, I just want them to really push this. Yeah, but I want to see new game mechanics being pushed with these new consoles. I really do. I want to see stuff that hasn't been done before. And I wish that they would concentrate more on that element. And, who knows? They may. Or, they could be doing what they're doing with games like Returnal. I look at Returnal and I say, how could you play that game on the PlayStation 4 when the mechanics of it utilize the triggers, the adaptive triggers of the PS5 DualSense? So maybe there's certain things like that may only come to God of War Ragnarok on the PS5. I don't know. We'll see. Rob Jones in the chat with the super chat says, massive thank you, Fonz, for everything you do for the community. You've grown your channel so much in a short time. Found you through Dealers, which is also a great podcast. Here's to the next 5K subs. I appreciate you so much, man. And of course, I got Brigadier's Blue again with our super chat saying, wish I could stay and watch, but I'm at a family event. Fonz and King are legendary duo. I wish I could watch it live. We'll definitely watch you later. Appreciate you guys so much. Yeah. Having King on today has been, it's fantastic. I'm glad you said yes to come to the show today. Immediately. I know it's hard because you got to do ILP Sundays and then like right after jump to something else. I know it's rough, but I appreciate you and Cog for doing this. Really do. But yeah, Horizon Forbidden West looks great. What is your thoughts on the other games we've seen this week? Dying Light 2 and Far Cry 6.
I was pissed off when they said Dying Light 2 was like in December.
Really?
I was so you run that risk, right? When you give the date, and normally a December date is not something that you hear. Normally you hear something in September, October, right? Yeah. So you hear the December date. I was like, what?
Too far out.
Yeah, that's crazy. But again, we're in a different type of time right now. Stuff that would have came out at a normal cadence, that cadence is off. So we have to look at it for what it is. The game looked magnificent.
It looks great.
I love Dying Light. I love that. I love the whole traversal. I love the nighttime. I love what they said now is when you're fighting and then at nighttime you can go into these nests that will be evacuated from the walkers, and you can go and get exclusive loot So this gives you incentive to not hide in your camp at night and defend, but to actually go out and seek this exclusive loot that can probably help you and further you along in the story. So I'm glad they did that. I love the aspect. I hope they bring back the hunters, that people can jump into your game as hunters and hunt you down. I thought that was so much fun. The game has a lot of promise. And I want to see what Microsoft does, because I say to this day that being that Microsoft gave them a cash influx, so I think what I've been led to believe.
Really?
I believe that game is day and date, because they had problems before early on, and magically a cash influx came from someplace. I believe that cash influx was probably from Microsoft, and the game is day and date in Game Pass.
Ooh, you heard it here first from King David. Day and date in Game Pass. Game Pass, something that's really polarizing to the community, it seems. One side really enjoys it. The other side, not so much. And they look for reasons to hate on it, and it's just ridiculous. Game Pass is such a great value. And people, you know what? Somebody struck up a conversation with me. I tried to be nice, but it didn't work out so well. So he got blocked. But anyway, somebody on Twitter brought up the fact that he looked at my gamer score and all this stuff and said, look, you've played 140 games, but you haven't beat all these games. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that's because that's the beauty of Game Pass. There's lots of games I try in Game Pass that I don't care for, that I just move along, you know, and go to the next one. But there's been plenty that I have played, enjoyed, and beat. It doesn't mean that there's 140 games there that I've just put to my backlog. No, I try some games and I move on if I don't care for it. And I'm sure you've done that as well.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of Game Pass. It's like,
well, we come from a different era, Fonz. We come from, and I'm speaking from myself. When you got a console, you got like 6 or 7 games. We probably didn't finish all of them. You know, when we was younger and we had enough time, we had a finite amount of time to finish a game. We did it, and we had to give it back to our friend, or
we rented from Blockbuster.
From Blockbuster.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, that's when we had that crunch. Now we're much older. We'll leisurely play a game, get back to it if we get a chance to it. If it doesn't automatically catch our eye or hook us from the beginning, we'll remember it later on, and it'll go to the backlog. Right. And those games that do automatically have that hook, definitely we stick to it and get to the end of those games. But for you to have 144 games and all of them, look at my Game Pass list too. I'm the same way.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, that's what I do. But there's plenty of games in there that I've played and beat and really enjoy. Now, as for Dying Light 2, for my opinion, looks fantastic. However, I cannot play Dying Light games. There's something about Dying Light and Mirror's Edge that gives me motion sickness.
Oh, okay.
It's that first person perspective parkour stuff.
Right.
I can't do it. And it sucks, man, because it looks cool. It looks really fun to do. I've tried
but you
Dying
can play
Light.
Halo, right?
Yeah, I could play first-person shooters, no problem. It's that whole parkour element. Every time they do that whole running and jumping and scaling over walls and jumping across buildings, it's too much for me. It sucks, man. I hate having to deal with this. I get it in cars though, riding in cars and stuff. So,
okay.
So VR and stuff is a no-go for me. I tried the Samsung Gear VR one time.
Yeah,
I was sick for days, man. I was sick for days.
I brought that for my pops. He got the new phone, and I brought him the VR so he could throw his phone into it and try it out. I'm a huge VR dude. I'm a proponent for that. I can't wait. Well, actually, I am going to wait on the PlayStation 1 because it's tethered. I expected them to do a wireless one. From all indications and reports were they had a choice between the two, and they wanted the connectivity of it to get the power of the console. I think that's a mistake, because then I would just stay with my Oculus 2.
Yeah, Zeus in the chat says, I think you'll have to skip Perfect Dark. Probably. If that's got a lot of parkour and stuff, I might. It just depends. I've played a lot of first-person games that don't give me any issue. Right. It's only been Dying Light and Mirror's Edge. That's the only two games.
Fast.
Yeah. That's the only two that's done that to me. And the other game I was talking about was Far Cry 6. What did you think about Far Cry 6?
I'm glad that they... all right, so in the beginning, when you first got that vertical slice trailer of the game, you thought that you would be playing from the perspective of the dictator or his son.
Yep.
and you saw the world and you said, okay, well, maybe this time I'm actually the villain. No, now you got a chance to see the protagonist and how the world is structured and the craft system that goes into the guns. I thought that was ingenious. I thought that was a whole different aspect of those third world countries and how things can be made and how everything is a weapon. They made sure that they told you everything is a weapon. No such thing as junk. Something that you may look at as junk can be turned into a lethal killing machine. And I thought that was fantastic. You know, she had a CD player, yo, and she was shooting
Macarena.
CDs.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah. I saw that.
I love that. I love the fact that it took itself seriously without taking itself seriously.
Yeah.
You know, the game looked beautiful.
I think the game looks excellent. I don't know why some people were saying it looks like a dated game. To me, it does not look dated at all. Like you could question the fact that some of the facial animations and stuff maybe not as good as some games, but it definitely doesn't look dated. To me, the world looks beautiful. I mean, who doesn't want to be...
that was an early on a vertical slice of the game.
Yeah, it looks great.
We know that.
Looks like a lot of fun too, man.
Yeah.
And Far Cry has always been a series that has just been about fun. Like
it always delivered, though.
Those games deliver. Yeah, every time. I still find fondness for Part 3. That's my favorite in the series. I think Part 3 was the best, but I still had fun with 5. 5 was great too.
I've always had a great time with their games. I think they get and they nail the human element when it comes to interactions. When they had that psycho dude on the island and he was psychotic, they nail those interactive moments that they have and they grip you into the story where you have to see where it's going to go next. So I don't have no fear when it comes to their level of interaction and storytelling. Facial animations, I think that's art style and direction and what they choose to show. But then you're looking at the world and this is what I'll be talking about, like an open world type of feels. Larger than life open world type of feels where you're taking a car and you're driving all the way over to the other side of the island, but during that whole thing there is interactivity in a living breathing world where people are around you trying to kill you and you have different safe zones, different safe havens. So I think that game is going to be exactly what I expect from Far Cry.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Rob Jones with the $10 super chat says, my brother recently broke his leg and can't move properly, can't play his PS5. I put an Xbox profile on his tablet and he loves xCloud. So what Xbox have given him is a chance. So what Xbox has given him is a chance to play anywhere. So true. If you're into xCloud, you're on a good Wi-Fi. Yep. Or if you're standing right next to a 5G cellular tower, then you'll be good, you know. Outside of that, it's kind of sketch. It has been in my experience, but man, on Wi-Fi, it delivers. It's pretty good.
Yep. Cell phone experience too is great.
Yeah, it just depends on your area and service as well.
Yeah, it's still in beta, so
yeah, still really good. And I'm glad he's still able to play games.
Yeah, tell him to try Stadia. Stadia is really good as well.
I heard it plays really smoothly. But death to Stadia, please. Anyway,
you can get it real cheap right now, Fonz. Come on.
hey, you know it's free. I get it, but yeah, it's still trash. Anyways, Far Cry 6 though, I'm looking forward to the game. I like, and what you touched on too about the villains. They always nail the villains. They always get some really good actors to play the villains. And the mark of a great actor, I always say, is when they play a villain and you really love to hate them.
Yep.
And that's what they deliver on. You love to hate these villains in Far Cry. And, you know, Giancarlo Esposito, it's going to be wonderful.
He's going to be great.
But yeah, I loved
him in The Mandalorian, and I cannot wait
loved him
to play this game.
Breaking Bad as well.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Breaking Bad.
Not too many people knew that he was in Breaking Bad if you didn't watch Breaking Bad.
And shout out to Ramon Terrell because he's an actor who's actually been in something with Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, that's what's up.
It's pretty awesome. Got a super chat here from Carlos Alvarado saying, Fonz, thoughts on Necromunda or Hired Gun. I haven't seen that one. Have you?
That game looks so great. That's why he
Really?
put that there. That game looks so great, and I've been looking forward to that game for that game.
Where'd you see this? Because I want to look
at
at
it. YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to check it out. And I'll let you know.
I'm subscribed to the Xbox channel, so it pops up on my timeline.
Awesome. I am not. I'm a fraud. I'm not subscribed to Xbox or PlayStation stuff, but I love them both.
Oh, no, I am.
Not sub to their channels. Because they're not sub to me, so why should I? No, I'm just
oh my god.
Now, anyway, so I want to pick your brain a little bit here about E3, King. Mm-hmm. I want to get your opinion not only on what you feel may be there. You don't have to say if you know anything, of course. You don't want to break anything. But what do you feel is going to be there? And the second part to this is, what do you really want to be there?
Okay, what I feel is going to be there from Microsoft Bethesda show, because there's only going to be 2 people there, and Nintendo's not really there. They're at the treehouse, but they're going to have something during that week in the traditional respect of the E3 experience week. That tradition. Sony's the only one that's not that don't feel like they need to participate.
Yeah.
Okay. Microsoft, I believe that we're going to see, last year, I think it was 120 plus games that they had on their show. I believe that we're going to see 140 games this year, as far as just shown. And they always show a lot of games and games coming out over time. Those games is multi-plat, going to be all over the place. But, for the games that are truly just theirs, this year will be a more of a collaboration. That's going to change over time. In the beginning, they're trying to ease you into the purchase of the Bethesda. They're trying to show you that they're a team going forward, even though Microsoft owns ZeniMax and owns everything in its entirety. And how they choose to disseminate those games over platforms will only be solely at the benefit of Microsoft and no one else. So if they're on PC, if they're on PlayStation, subscription-based stuff, if they're on Nintendo, those things is only through them. Now, I see that bridge and that gap going forward. Certain new IPs we will see. Do I believe that we will have Starfield there? I think we will see it in some form or fashion. I think at the Bethesda portion of the show, they will present that to them because that's their big IP that they have. So I believe that you'll get some form of a vertical slice.
I'm hearing that you're going to see quite a bit of Starfield.
Yeah, I believe so. I really believe so. I also, what I want that, how can I word this?
Now, before you go on, before you move from Starfield, so what are your thoughts on a release date from Starfield? Do you think that they could be
none
at all? None. So, okay. So, because I've heard conflicting things.
Right.
Okay. Some people say that, this game has been done, while others like Jason Schreier has said
it's not done.
It's far from being done.
Fonz, it's not done. and I can honestly say that game is not done.
Okay.
All right. And let's say for those people that say it's done, right? I'm gonna give you a scenario for those people that say it's done. It doesn't fit in the schedule. All right. Now you have to look at the Game Pass as a gift and a curse. It doesn't fit in the schedule. It has to find a slot in the schedule. Microsoft is at a point now where they have to release games in a cadence to fit with Game Pass. They need people to stay subscribed. They don't need any down points. So 1 month that, let's say, in between bangers, which you say Halo is a banger. We know Halo's coming out this year, right? Do you want, and we know that Forza is coming out this year. I believe Forza releases before Halo. Halo releases in its November period. And then we have another game releasing after the November period, which is the 2-month period after that, which will probably be in January, February. And smaller titles will be released in between of these, games.
Gotcha.
It has to fit the cadence.
I've always maintained that it's going to drop early in 2022.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm thinking more along the lines of March, April.
Yes.
Yeah,
I believe
that's what
so.
I believe.
I believe that's the game that they have to go up against Horizon. I believe that game is the game that they throw up against one of Sony's big bads.
Yep.
And
Makes
then
sense.
you see other titles that will go up against other Sony so-called bangers
Yeah.
to do that. I want the Nintendo Microsoft secret conversations unveiled already. I want to know what's all the talk about, because from all the data mining and stuff like that, it indicates that Game Pass will be on some form of fashion on the Switch. I want that in the wild already. I would love for Miyamoto to come out, and for them, being that Nintendo and Microsoft said at the same time that they're going to be at E3, which was really weird. But okay, yeah, both are going to be at E3.
Yep.
In what form of capacity? Because we know Microsoft is going to be there,
We're
but
not
Nintendo, well, Nintendo never had to say that they were going to be there, because they would always release a Treehouse around that time.
We assume that. Yeah. We
Yeah,
always assume
exactly.
that.
So that's just really weird, and I really want to know what's going on there. I believe a studio, and this is my hopes and wants,
Yeah.
that Microsoft purchased Kojima Studios. Kojima's productions.
Wow.
I hope so. I believe that they will give him a hands-on approach. Then he will be cash flush in his approach to stuff that goes on. And I always believe that that game that he made, what was the last one? Death Stranding. I believe if that game was put inside Game Pass, it would have had longer legs and would have been a better game released in that environment.
Well, most definitely. And that's the reason why many of us push the fact that if Sony had a similar service, it would have been wonderful for them.
Yeah, that game. But that game in particular, because how he set that game up, he set it up that it was a community based. And if you went from, if you did something in the world and the community came and they built a bridge for you, from what I'm hearing, that other people can place things in your world that translates over.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, so if that game is made by a community and the community wasn't supporting it, that's where the game dies. But if you have a large enough community that new people coming into the world gets to see this game that's a mainstay, the game can grow to the lengths and the heights that he wanted it to reach, that it didn't reach.
I'll add to this too and say that, you know, for your want anyway there with Kojima Productions, I will say that for those out there who may seem like, why is this Xbox guy asking for Kojima Productions? And or even for myself to say, hey, that's a good idea. And for someone like me who really doesn't like a lot of Kojima games,
right?
It doesn't matter, because Kojima moves the needle. No matter what I think or what King thinks about his games, he moves the needle. And it's always, you know, anytime his game comes out on any platform, it's a big win for that platform.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. He moves the needle and it makes sense. So that would be a big get. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. You never know. With Microsoft money, yeah, that could happen. It's possible. What else do you really want to see from this year's E3? Any game in particular that you want to see? Halo.
We're
going to see that. We're going to see it.
I want to see Halo Infinite. I like to be surprised, Fonz, to be honest with you. You know, and I shut off basically my DMs. So a lot of you guys that hit me in the DMs, I don't really look at certain stuff at this point in time, because going into E3, I want my opinions to be my own opinions. I don't want to be jaded by something that I get in the DMs knowing something. So I'm really shut off myself from this time until after E3 to just breathe it in. To take yourself back to those experiences when you were excited for something.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. For me personally, I made a prediction video just the other day, and within that prediction video, I said this, King, tell me what you feel about this. I say they're going to go out there and announce Battlefield 6 in Game Pass Day 1.
Yeah. I believe. Okay, so this is the way that Battlefield fights its way back, because Battlefield was really neck and neck at some time with Call of Duty, and then Call of Duty just took off. And then once PlayStation got a hold of the exclusive time period to release demos and stuff like that, got the marketing rights for the game. It definitely went to the part where, I can't stand Call of Duty because everybody's playing it type of feel. But Battlefield released great games, but they weren't getting that recognition. Now the fact that Game Pass is moving to this 30 million subscriber stratosphere to release day and date in Game Pass, it doesn't hurt them no more to release the same date as Call of Duty. Actually, this is where you put Call of Duty's feet to the fire. This is where you reach a battleground where you can have a fair fight against Call of Duty. This is where you can take the Microsoft dollar and make the people make a choice now, or you don't have to make a choice.
Yeah,
they can go and purchase Call of Duty. If you choose, you have the superior product in Game Pass. If they have Game Pass, they get to try your title and get a chance to purchase the other title. And maybe they might not say, we don't like Call of Duty, but you give yourself a fighting chance that day to have the engagement numbers reach higher proportions than you've ever had.
Yeah. And I say this to people all the time. It's going to come to a point where people are going to be looking at these third-party deals that Microsoft does, and they're going to be questioning. And even PlayStation guys are going to be questioning, do I pay $70 over here, or do I just get Game Pass? It's going to happen. It's going to come a day where everybody's going to be looking at that. I won't say everybody, but most gamers.
No, it's any company that's in it for the dough, and that's all companies. If you're in it for the dough, now you got to risk your benefits to being part of Game Pass averse to not. Because I say this, it's like playing with house money. You already got paid, right? Now, what's going to stop you? I mean, you release on everything. All right, I already got paid from them. They already gave me my money. I released over there. And then they're saying that people that have Game Pass purchase more in-game content and purchase more games opposed to those that are not.
Yeah.
So why not? You still make your money here. You still make your money on PC. You already got your money from Microsoft. And then you're getting in-game purchases with more money on top of that. Yeah. There is no losing.
And all you have to do, all one has to do is look over and see what happened with Outriders.
Yes.
Outriders was one of those games where it wasn't on many people's radar. Let's be honest. When we first saw it, we were kind of like, okay, whatever. As soon as it hit Game Pass, everybody was playing it.
On it.
Everybody was on that game.
Now, let me ask you this.
It was in Game Pass.
Let me ask you this. We know how bad that game is. As far as the bugs and the stuff that goes on. I was so frustrated this weekend.
Me too.
I put it in, Dragon Quest 11, and was playing that this weekend because I couldn't log into Outriders.
Yep.
Now, no Game Pass, that game comes out with those problems. What happens to that game? It dies. It's dead. It doesn't move.
Yep.
But the fact that it's in Game Pass, like I told the dude the other day, he was complaining. I said, you know what? Really, I can't complain because I got this in Game Pass. Game Pass was already paid for a long time ago. I got this in Game Pass as basically a free game. So at no point in time can I really, cry and moan about me not being able to log in.
You know what? You have every right to, honestly,
right.
Even if it's within Game Pass. But I understand what you're saying because I kind of said the same thing on RDX. I said that it's one of those games I would have been more upset about had I paid $60 for it.
Yes.
Now, I got so upset with the game and I beat it and immediately uninstalled it. As soon as I beat the game, I was like, okay, I'm done. But I had such a blast playing it outside of those bugs, outside of those annoyances.
I say this, Fonz. The game doesn't start until you get to the expeditions. The whole beginning of the story of the game, that's just cute.
I did try the expeditions. I did go into the expeditions. Yeah, I got to level 9 and I stopped.
I'm at a point now, Fonz, that I can solo a level 15 expedition on my pyro, and I can do a level 12 with my techno. But the loot system and crafting your character, is probably one of the deepest crafting trees in maximizing power and performance of the character and different mods that go in, I sit down with a notepad. I have a composition book, Fonz, that I write out certain things and seeing damage meta and stuff like that, and what guns work better with different performance rates. And I do runs using certain guns. I've never done this with a game, and it hurts that this game has so much bugs in it and so many problems, but they're constantly working on it because they see there's a community that actually wants to support it. But I do feel that if it wasn't in Game Pass, it would be in the garbage.
The thing is, when we talk about all these games now that are releasing recently, the past year, there's been a lot of bugs in pretty much every game. There's been bugs. And this is something where it's annoying me because I feel like I'm a beta tester at $60.
Yes, sir.
With Game Pass, it softens the blow, and it shouldn't be an excuse for these developers at all. It honestly, this is why I say that I'm not rushing for a release date for any game. Take your time, developers.
Thank you.
Do what you got to do, because honestly, I'll support you. Put this game out when it's ready, and I'll support you 100%. I just don't like supporting these games when they come out broken or buggy. It really is a mess with some of these games. And Outriders was one of those games that was a complete mess at the beginning.
Cyberpunk didn't come out for me yet. When they released that next generation patch, that's when I'm going to be playing that game.
Yeah. And so at E3, I want to wrap this up because we've already done our hour here. It flies by that fast.
Wow, that was quick. Wow.
Yeah, really quick. But so this whole E3 thing, if you can have one game, you said Halo Infinite,
right?
Another game. What game do you want to see? E3.
Avowed.
Me too, baby.
I
Me
know
too.
that game is going to be there. And this is the problem with knowing stuff that you're not supposed to know. You know, Avowed is going to be there. What's a game that I want to be surprised with? You know what? I would love to be surprised with an ODST game.
Oh,
I would love to be surprised with that. A lesser Halo known game, ODST. I would love to be surprised with their take on the Marines trying to survive an onslaught. You know, 4-player co-op. You know, a multi-layered game. I really want that type of feel for them to just use that ODST to do different things in the Halo universe. Use that to explore the thoughts of a regular Marine rejecting the Spartan treatment that wasn't able to get the Spartan treatment, that has to fight through the world but has the same fight as Master Chief but is not as strong, and doesn't have the overshields and needs a squad base. I need that type of feel of it to get that ground-based combat of somebody that can die instead of, we know he's going to live. So I want that. Show me something like that. Show me that Halo world that we want. So that's what I'm looking for.
That's a good one. All right. So I'm going to close the show out now, guys. I want to thank each and every one of you for showing up today. I've had at one point, I think like 260 people here, and that's amazing. I really appreciate you guys. I know a lot of your listeners from ILP come over and watch my show, and I'm so happy for all of you guys to show up, watching it live. And those of you that watch it on demand as well, thank you very much. Thank you to all my supporters and everything. I saw somebody ask in the chat, Rob C., I believe, said, how can you become a member? There should be a join button there on YouTube. Just hit the join button. I do have one last super chat here from Mass Erect. To my brothers, thank you for a good show. Respect to both of you for what you bring to this gaming community.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mass Erect. And he's one of those guys that came from ILP, by the way.
Yes, that's my guy.
And he became a channel member day one, and I appreciate that so much, man. It's a beautiful thing. This community sometimes gets a lot of flack, but there's a lot of great people out here, and those are the ones I like to focus on, is the amazing people here. And everybody in the chat today has been amazing. Anthony, Chipmunk, Zeus, Nine Lives, Paul, there's so many here to name off. USO Vinny. There's just so many great people here. Neil B.
Beautiful.
Ryan Landis, Ramon Terrell, all you guys, thank you very much for showing up. Before we get out of here, I want to let people know that I also put in the description all your information, where they could find you, where they could find the Iron Lords podcast, and where they could find LogNet, because of course you guys have a website as well.
Yes.
And that is lordsofgaming.net. Make sure you use that. It's a great site.
And I'm also on DCX Fridays. There's DCX Open Mic, 9 p.m. Fridays, where I talk about all these great statues that you see around me. KOS goes up on Iron Lord's channel, but if you want to see me do my live unboxings is only on DCX, and those happen whenever I get a new statue in, and we sit there and we talk about statues. You can get a chance to see Lord Cognito's and my live unboxing of the Silver Surfer maquette that dropped from Sideshow. It's a beautiful statue, and you also get a chance to see XM Studios Thanos, which I have over there. That unboxing is there as well.
And that, of course, will be on the ILP channel as well, right? Here on YouTube. No,
that's only on DCX.
DCX.
All my live unboxings is on DCX.
I'm going to go ahead and add that channel to the description as well, because everybody needs to know where to find you there as well. Thank you very much, man. It's been awesome to have you here today, King. Very, very good show. Very fast, man. When you have a good time talking about games and stuff, it just goes by so fast. It's crazy.
So fast.
And an hour just goes by and really quickly. A lot of reasons why I do just an hour is to respect my guest's time. And of course, for you, it's been a long day. So I'm going to let you get out of here and let the rest of the chat get out of here. And until next time, guys, game on.
Peace.